Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a tutorial on this monochromatic glitter cut crease. And I use the new Tati Beauty. This is the Textured Neutrals Volume 1 palette. Intro is going to be not too long today, but I do got a few things to say. So it's going to be a little bit of a lengthier intro, but I'm going to go through it really kind of super quickly. Yeah, so it comes with a nice plastic sheet here, and let's take a look at the palette. It's a stunner. You got a super full-size mirror right here. I'm sure most of you guys have already seen this palette, but just to give you the quick, condensed version of the layout here. You've got 4 different textures here. You've got mattes, and then you've got a sequin shade, which is a matte with a glitter reflex, and then you have metallic, and then you have your pressed glitters. So when I first got this, monochromatic was what screamed my name, and I absolutely love monochromatic looks. I think they are stunning. So that is what I did with this terracotta type rusty orangey shade, but my first inclination was to do a orange and a cranberry because I absolutely love these orangey shades mixed with these berry deep purpley type shades. I guess to me they look more berry, but I do see some purpley reflex. But yeah, mixing these two together was just a stunning combo, and I almost did that today, but decided to go with the monochromatic. All right, so let's just talk a little bit really briefly. I'm not a Tati fan. I've seen some things that she's done, and I haven't really kind of always been on board with all of her videos, but I've seen a couple. So, but I'm not a Tati fan, but I did watch her video that she came out with the James Charles, where she kind of exposed her side of that whole dramageddon thing that was going on a while back. You know, and I remember back in the 80s, because I was in college in the 1980s, and I remember when Coca-Cola decided that they were going to come out with the new Coke. And I was in college, I think I was in economics class, and we were all like going, oh, no, 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 no. Because Coca-Cola had been around for almost a century and was like, you know, so well known. And so they decide they're going to come out with this new Coke, and they're going to X the old Coke. And I was like, oh my gosh, no, this is going to be the biggest marketing flop in US history. And I think it ended up being the biggest flop in US history. So when I was listening to Tati's, video on the James Charles thing, I was thinking, wow, this is going to be like the most amazing marketing ploy to ever hit the YouTube beauty community. She's going to get millions of followers, and literally overnight, that's exactly what happened. She gained millions of followers, and James Charles lost millions. So I'm telling you, it was a brilliant, brilliant marketing ploy. She is also a perfectionist. I'm a total hot mess, and there's a lot of us that are walking around that are hot messes, but she's a perfectionist through and through, so there was not a doubt in my mind that her palette would be anything less than perfect. So you guys will see the effortless blend all the way through, and I do use I use all 4 of these textures, and that's what I've got going on this eye look right here. So if you guys want to see how I created this monochromatic glitter cut crease, then just keep watching. And if you're new here, let me just take a second to welcome you to this video and welcome you to my channel. My name is Lauren Jade. I am 57. I have mature, crepey, wrinkly skin with hooded eyes that are slightly downturned, and I'm always looking for tips and tricks to, just rock this situation and pass them on to you. And I know that we all have different, eye shapes, and we have different levels of hoodedness, so sometimes you have to tweak and make adjustments, but I try to get the concept of contouring, and I try to get the concept of, working with the hooded eyes to get that structure and that definition, because when you have hooded eyes, that's like what you need to bring your eyes to life. All right, that's it. So I'm going to quit yakking now, and we're going to get right into this video. And if you guys want to see how I created the look using this palette, then just keep watching. And if you are new, I would love to have you join me. Please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell right next to it. That way YouTube notifies you each and every time I upload. And without further ado, you guys know the drill. Let's just get into this tutorial. All right, so here we go. I got my P. Louise base. I'm going to use this one today along with the P. Louise brush. This is the Rumor 2. This is the one that I ordered from the UK, and I am patiently waiting for the number 0 to come in stock at Morphe. So I'm going to apply this really lightly. I'm not going to do the traditional P. Louise, you know, style where it goes all the way in and all the way out. I'm just going to kind of place this where I'm planning to place my shadows, but I'm also taking it up a little higher because I do put a little bone color shade up there. And yeah, I don't use this too much, but I really do like it, and I love her brushes. All right, I'm going to hurry up and set this before it dries, and I'm actually going to be setting this P. Louise style. As per usual, I'm going to grab the orange soda shade because I'm going to do kind of a orangey look, and I just feel like this would be such a really pretty shade to kind of set the concealer with. So, not concealer, but primer with. Normally, you guys know I usually set my primer with Melt's Blur because it's just a perfect shade for my bronzy looks, which is usually what I do. So I'm going to grab this classic shade, and I'm going to put that right underneath the brow bone. It's just a nice bone color shade, and then I'm going to kind of drag it down to kind of flirt with the edges of that orange soda shade. And I didn't show this step, but I usually do this before I kind of do my primer. When I'm doing my concealer, I use this little Zoeva brush, and I kind of carve out right underneath this brow right here like this. I just feel like this really helps to set the shape and the alignment for the eyeshadow. So I feel like that is a very important step, is getting these brows in alignment with your eyeshadow shape. So that is what I do before my primer. I can do that when I do my concealer. All right, I so often forget to do this step right at the beginning, but I'm going to do it right now before I do anything else, and that is I'm going to do some under eye baking, and I'm going to kind of protect my base here because the glitter, we're going to be using the glitter shade as well today, and I know that I will have some fallout with that because I've already played with it a little bit, so I am well aware what I'm dealing with. All right, so I'm going to show you guys what I use real quick. It's kind of a mixture. I mix these two together just kind of for a custom blend. This is the RCMA white. This is the no color, just the regular white translucent powder, and this is the Ben Nye Luxury Banana powder. So I just kind of mix these two together. Okay, so I'm going to start with bronzing my crease as always, and I'm going to use the bronze. This is the Cheek Leader Pink Squad. Actually, I decided to give this one some love because I'm always using the bronze squad. But as always, I'm going to dip into the Hoola bronzer. I'm using a Sigma E35 for this step. And normally, you guys know I do a little contouring in my socket area right here just to kind of give some definition. But because I'm going to kind of do a bright orangey, almost like an orange cranberry look today, I'm not going to do too much with the bronzer. So my main method of operation with this is just going to kind of be to swirl a little bit on the inner corner just to soften this brow area and take a little bit into this nose contour area. I like that sultry fade that this gives, and I just love how it looks. I feel like it's so nice and soft and flattering and just gives some definition to the hooded eye. So that's usually what I do. And normally I would just kind of go in and just kind of do a little contouring and then kind of brush it out towards the temple. But for today, I'm just going to do this real quick. This is the palettes. Wow. All right. So I did get a chance to play in this a couple times because I received this, I think, a few days ago. I think I got it. I posted it on my Instagram where I did an unboxing. So my method of operation with this was to be even a little bit more meticulous and precise in my application and in my blending because they are super pigmented. And when I first got this, I was going to do a monochromatic look because that's kind of what I'm seeing too. I mean, obviously you can mix all the rows together, but then I ended up doing an orange and a cranberry type look, and it was just stunning, and it just melted effortlessly. I mean, it was just like molten. I mean, it was just blended so smoothly. So I think I may do that today, or I may do the monochromatic look. I'm not sure. I'm just going to kind of see where this all takes me. But the first shade I'm going to go into is Story, and this is the matte shade. And you can kind of see that orange soda shade that I used to set the primer. You can just see how that, you know, blends and works really good as a backdrop for this particular shade, which is why I chose to use that to set the primer. All right, I'm using an M433 and I'm grabbing a little bit of it. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to be very, very precise. It's almost kind of like I am mapping out like a fake crease in a way. I'm going to start here in my little plug and play area. I'm going to hold this brush kind of horizontally because I don't want to push the color too far up, and I don't want it to kind of go anywhere but exactly where I want it. And you can see just by like laying that little bit down, like super, super pigmented. So I'm going to start here in the little plug and play area. And then I'm going to slowly bring this in. My plan here is to be very meticulous and just kind of very slowly work to create the shape and to blend. Once I'm in my little area right here, I'm going to kind of hug this little socket area, as you can kind of see, and I'm going to kind of flick it out a little bit. So I want to do a little bit more of an elongated with this. And I want this to kind of have that gradient fade, so it's a little bit darker on the outer corner and then a little bit lighter as I go in. And now I'm just going to blend the edges out. I want to keep this lifted. And you can see just like super, super pigmented here. So I'm gonna just bring this up and over. And I'm going to pull it out a little bit. And then I'm just going to blend these edges out here. I'm going to use this shade as kind of a blending tool shade. So I'm going to grab a little bit of this Aura shade, and this is the matte one that I'm going to be taking. And I'm going to actually grab that on a different brush. I'm going to use this Anastasia one here, and I'm going to kind of put that up here and just kind of drag a little bit of it down just to kind of graze the edges of that shade, which will help kind of fade that color, because I want that gradient fade going from dark to light. And I'm just blending really lightly. I'm barely even touching my skin. I'm just kind of grazing the edges. All right, now I'm going to go back in and just kind of finish bringing some of this inward. Stick with this same brush for now, because I like it's nice and flat and I can lay down the color exactly where I want it. I'm going to take this shade also in the Story row, and this is the Sequin shade, which is basically a matte with some glitter. And this, again, is super pigmented. So I'm going to put this, I'm going to kind of apply this in the same alignment that I did the other shade, but I'm just going to go a little bit below. So it's not going to be quite as high. I'm going to kind of go right above my natural crease here and just kind of deepen this up a little bit. You can see just that little bit. And because I really blended out this first shade when I put this one down, this literally just kind of melted right into that other shade. So again, not hardly any at all blending that I have to really do. I also sometimes will just kind of take the edges of that shade and just kind of push it up into that other shade, and it'll just kind of blend for me, rather than just, you know, going in with a larger fluffy brush and swashbuckling that color all over the place, which if you have large eyes or if you have young, tight, taut skin, that works. But again, if you are dealing with mature, crepey, wrinkly skin, that does not work. Here. And then I'm just going to lightly push up the edges. I love the pressing and tapping method of applying shadow. You guys see me do that all the time because it just works, you know, it just works. And it works really good if you have hooded eyes, small eyes, or if you have, like me, mature, crepey, wrinkly skin, it works really good. And I'm kind of going in sort of like a little sideways S pattern, if you will, because I'm plugging this into the socket here and I'm kind of flicking it out, and I'm kind of taking it up towards the brow and then just kind of over. I'm kind of going straight across with this because I want to leave this area really light and bright for my light inner corner color. That's just kind of how I like it. So I'm just kind of going out here, and then I'm kind of going up and kind of over a little bit. That makes sense. Up, and then I'm going to kind of go over in here. And that's just going to keep this whole little lid area right here nice and light and bright. Contouring is one thing, but without adding the light, you know, when you have the shade, you have to have the light to get that contrast, to really kind of see it all come together. I'm picking up just a tiny bit more of that bone color aura matte shade and just lightly grazing on top here. It's just really softening the edges. It's a great little blending tool shade. I've been sitting here trying to decide if I want to do the orange and cranberry look, which I absolutely love, or if I just want to do a monochromatic look for this time. I think I'm just going to do the monochromatic, and then for the next look we will just go in and do the orange and cranberry look. I'm going to grab a little bit of my white NYX shadow base, which you guys know is a ride or die staple for me, and I'm just going to I've already kind of mapped out my lid space, so I'm just going to kind of put this in the center here. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and grab that metallic shade. And yes, you could definitely use your finger, and that definitely gives more of a brighter payoff, but I think I'll do that just like right here. You guys know that I really prefer to use a brush just because of the fact that I like to shape out and kind of sculpt out this almost like a little cut crease type of look here. So that's why I really prefer to use the brush, so I can kind of get that exactly as I wiped off my brush here, and I put a little bit of MAC Fix Plus, and I'm just going to kind of dampen this inner corner, and I'm going to grab the metallic white shade that was the Aura. I think I will do a tiny bit of that in the very, very front, because you guys know I have to stick with my signature inner corner brightness that I like to kind of frame this right in this area right here. I swear, I've been doing this. I know, I do this in every single video. I know, but I feel like we kind of all have our signature looks and signature things that we like, and for me, this is it. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab that first brush, and I'm just going to kind of go over the border between right where I lay down that metallic and my actual fake crease, just to kind of smooth everything out. All right, I'm going to do my lower lash line, which isn't going to take much. I'm just going to draw. All right, so I'm going to start with the brown matte shade here, and then I'm going to go into the black matte. I'm going to start with the brown and kind of smoke it up, and then I'm going to put the black closest to the lash line, so it kind of has that gradient fade. I kind of have that going on my lid here. I've got that kind of gradient fade, and I really like that. That's kind of how I prefer my shadows to be. So I'm going to start with this brown shade, and I'm just going to stamp this outer corner right out here, keeping it close to the lash line. Just going to kind of stamp here, just kind of wiggle in between the lashes, and then I'm going to slowly kind of wiggle the color upwards and just kind of smoke it up a little bit. Not going to do too wide of a wing. So I really love, and then when I get out to this outer corner area here, I'm just going to kind of drag this out a little bit, just kind of like I'm pulling it into a cat eye. And then I'm going to bring it down and just kind of connect, get a little tiny wing going here. All right, so I went in with the black and just really stamped that right along the root of the lash line. I just kept that shade really, really low to the lashes. And then I pulled whatever I had left out into that little smoky baby wing. I'm going to grab a little bit of this light brown shade on the same brush, on the same flat definer brush, and I'm just going to smudge that right on top of that darker brown, just so it kind of softens the whole thing and just kind of makes it a little poof, like a little smoke. That way the deepest part is right by, and I'm just grabbing those same shades and smoking them on this lower lash line and then just kind of dragging this up. All right, so my method of working with pressed glitters is pretty much the same as working with a loose glitter. I'm going to add some glitter glue as insurance just because, well, you know how glitter is. I've got this glitter adhesive from ABH, which I absolutely love, and then I have some NYX glitter primer, which is also amazing, so I'm not really sure which one I'm going to use. You know what? Maybe I'll use this one because I think I used this adhesive last time I did my glitter look. So I'm going to grab just a tiny bit, and I'm using my MAC. This is a old one. No, this is a 212. I think I have a flat brush that's a 144, but it's so old the number has kind of wore off. So I'm going to take a little bit on the tip here. And I'm just going to put this where I'm planning to place the glitter. All right, I'm going to wipe my brush real quick, and I'm going to go into this. I'm probably going to have to do this with my finger, I'm guessing, because the brush usually doesn't give that much payoff, but getting some. All right, I'm going to just stamp this on here super quick, and then I'm going to fix with the brush. All right, I don't think I'm going to mess with these falsies at all today. I know that would complete the look, but, you know, I'm just not going to mess with it. I'm sorry, you guys, but, like, honestly, I've got things I have to do right after this, and I just don't want to mess with those falsies, because, you know, there's always one that gets wonky all the time. All right, I'm going to grab this shade, the sequin shade for the monochromatic look, and I'm just going to kind of deepen up the actual baseline. So kind of like my fake crease, and I'm going to go right on top of that glitter and just kind of put in that little fake crease line again. And this is just going to melt into that existing shade, so there isn't any blending at all that I have to do. I'm just going to put in this little fake crease line and just kind of wing it out a little bit here at the end. Normally, I always grab my, gosh, you guys know it's a staple, my Morphe setting spray, which I absolutely love, but I'm going to grab this dewy set. This is the Anastasia one, so I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to give a couple squirts, get the fan going. Whew. All right, guys, so that completes the look. I know so many times it's really hard to see the beauty of it in the camera. Sometimes it just doesn't pick up how gorgeous it is, but this is just stunning, and it just blended like molten fire. I mean, it was just, oh my gosh, these shadows are just like a dream to work with. Like, oh, so beautiful. All right, so we will be doing a orange and a cranberry look next time, because these two together is just stunning. So we're gonna do that next. So we will be doing another look soon. Yeah, so maybe hopefully next time. All right, so this completes the look. Mwah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next one.